Good morning. Welcome to Real Life Trading's Beginner's Day Trading Room. My name's Tony Pollock. I'm going to walk you through a few setups potentially out there as people get into this room here. Welcome, welcome. Who's excited to do a little trading today? Yeah, let's go. What's up? What's up? What's going on to all my Facebook friends out there? What's happening? Let me turn that off so I don't get that reverb. Here we go. Albert, what's going on? John, my man. Good morning. Good morning. Then, my friend, how are you doing? I'm great. Thank you for asking, my friend. I mean, even Lucian's in the house. Cam's here. Lara, what's up? All right. We're piling in, but let's get started. As always, throw some tickers at me you'd like me to look at. See if we can't figure out some setups on some day trades. Let's get into the markets as normal. We had a massive move lower. I'm looking at this hourly chart here on the SPY. Okay. So we broke key levels yesterday, right? Yesterday was the time to short. We had a nice push higher. Got back into some higher stuff. This is where I bought some puts. This is where I did some bear call spreads, and it's moving lower, and it's going to continue lower. I don't think the market's quite at the support where we're going to be bouncing. Doesn't mean that we can't bounce a little today, but realistically, keeping an eye here on this hourly chart, I brought this up for a point. If we turn on extended hours, in my brain, as we went lower, I was like, we'll probably retest back up to this weekly support, which is now resistance since we're below it. We've already done that pre-market. So we could still do it again with market open. This is my point of control. This is my level that I'm caring about, that I want to see what happens. Do we open up and scream right through 453.87? Right? The reason why this level is big, I'll show you real quick here on a weekly chart, is this is the pivot from before. This is the area that we went up at, hit, and then rejected hard. So this should now be support, right? We should be back above this. And so you're looking at a weekly chart. It wouldn't shock me at all to have the weekly candle close up above 453.92, but that's why I want to keep an eye on this level right here, because we just closed solidly on a daily chart below it. So now that we've retested it already, that's what makes the most sense. We are extremely down, right? We're extended to that downside. Whenever you get far away from the 10 EMA, so my 10 EMA is right here, this darker color line, it's a little bit harder to see. Whenever we get extended, we're all the way down here. It's going to want to try to work its way back to the 10 EMA before it goes lower, most likely, most of the time, not every time. So I'm expecting some kind of bounce. It's just a matter of when is that bounce going to come in? Are we going to bounce today and go? Maybe. I don't know if we're going to do that. Are we going to bounce down here off of our 100 EMA? I think that's more likely. Today, since we've already retested this pre-market and rejected, I feel like we get a little bounce and then a move lower back down here into our 100. This might be the thing that causes us to have a few days of bouncing, a little bit of chop, and we'll see if the weekly candle will finish up above this resistance. John, I have no idea if Powell's talking today. I haven't looked that up. If anyone's got some information on that, let me know. I don't think he is. No, I don't think. I haven't seen anything, but who knows? I don't think he is. I just don't want to come out and be like, yeah, he's guaranteed not talking today, because who knows? He might. This is where we're at. So at the moment, we are an inside candle. We are gapping up, right? Not much, but we are gapping up. I expect us to probably continue lower today. Okay. Is this the time to buy puts? No, it's not. The time to buy puts was yesterday up here. That was the place to get it. If you were here with real life trading, we were like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I bought puts there. Just gonna let you know what I'm doing. But that was the place to do it. Down here, you're going to be paying way too much. With options, you need to be ahead of the curve. You've got to be ahead of the move. If you're reacting with options, if you're buying puts after the 3% down move, you're paying way too much. IV's way too high. You're going to really struggle to make money on that option. You want to get it before the move comes. So you're using your knowledge of the markets to kind of let you know sentiment, price action, all of these things to let you know that, hey, there's a good chance we're heading lower. Do you ever really truly know? No. That's the hard thing about the markets, right? There's no confirmation. But once you're waiting on confirmation, you're usually too late. Does it work? Sure. So you want to use these other puzzle pieces to help you determine what's about to happen before it does. And then realizing, 55% win rate's pretty good with day trading. You can be profitable with that. So this is the time to sell puts. Exactly. Yeah. This is the time to start hedging against your long puts, locking in some profits and capping your downside. It's going to bite you a little bit if the market continues to fall, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Michael says, so when implied volatility is high, the direct correlation to expensive options across the board. Correct. Now, each stock has its own implied volatility, right? But they tend to follow the general market's implied volatility for the most part. So if a stock already has high implied volatility and overall market sentiment starts to move higher, most likely that stock that already has high is going to go higher as well. But each option is going to be different, right? Based on your expiration date, based on your strike, and based off of the ticker itself. Tesla's going to have normally higher, pretty much all the time, higher IV than the SPY will, right? So, cool. So this is my thoughts here on the SPY. I do expect to go short. I do expect it to go lower, and I'm going to wait to see what it does at this level at 453.97 and at 447. Both of those. Let's read sentiment there. On everything else in the middle, I can play with. That's fine. I've got an edge. I've got some sentiment happening, but I want to see what it does here, and I want to see what it does here. This is an area that I'm going to be looking to take some really good trades at. All right. So the Qs are breaking some strong pivots finally. Yesterday was a big day. The Qs were holding up just fine. We ended up taking out and closing solidly below multiple higher lows on a daily chart. This bull move right here is officially done. We have broken the higher lows. Does that mean it's going to go straight down today? No, but this bull move is over with until the bear move is over with. So this is now your lower high. So if the bulls can get us back up above 401, then this little bear move will be over with. And that's what we're waiting on. The markets are just battling back and forth, right? So now it comes into buying the dip, because what you're going to do is you're going to look at bigger time frames. Is the bigger time frame higher low broken? No, the Q's higher low is down around 350. So until that's broken, this bull move is not over with yet. So you realize how there's it's a different S curve on different time frames, right? So overall, is it the end of the world? No, not yet. We'll find out. We'll find out how big this pullback ends up being. Most likely, I feel like we're probably going to retest back into 370 on the Qs and 440 on the SPY. This makes a ton of sense. 445-ish area. That looks really, really good. So those are my thoughts on the markets. Let's dive into some gaps, some day trading movements. That's kind of why we're here, right? Start looking at some day trades. All right. What do we have here in the chat pane? Apple, of course, box. All right. Let's jump into Apple. There's a few Apple requests here. This is a gap and go, right? No, I'm sorry. That's a gap. No, I'm looking at the weekly chart. There we go. This is a retest gap down on some big volume from yesterday. Kind of this little reversal candle coming in. It is a good gap. The problem with trying to short this is that you have a lot of people, you've got a lot of limit orders in here. So it's going to make the short a little bit tricky. If this was a gap and go, so if this thing finished really strong bullish and then we gap down here, I feel like we could have a few more people trapped. This is a retest gap. It probably does move lower. I think so. It's just, I don't know if it's going to be the easiest short, right? We'll see. So if I go out to a weekly chart here, where can we move down to? We've got a support right here. Press the right button. 157 seems pretty realistic today. And then the weekly EMA is around 155. I feel like these are the spots where people are most likely longer term going to be trying to buy this thing up. So that's the cool thing about day trades is we can be in and out, right? We can catch some quick moves. These are the areas I'm going to keep an eye on today. We are gapping below some key pivots, which is nice, below the 10 EMA. We'll see where we actually open. It is a 3% gap down. So again, how much more of a move are we expecting it to have? I don't know. Not very much more. So if I look here on Apple on our expected move, the average true range, got to go to a daily chart. The average, press the wrong button. It always messes with my scaling and it's like miniaturizes on everything I do. The average true range for the past 14 days has been about $3.60. We are already almost at $6. This gap alone is already almost double the average move on Apple. So paying attention to that. Yes, this is a good gap. This makes sense. I love the fact that we're taking out some key pivots on this gap, depending on where we open. How much more are we going to go? We've already doubled the average move just with the gap itself. So these are things you've got to pay attention to, right? How much more is left on it to go? So if you set up a trade on a 5-minute chart and you set this up and your entries there and your stops here and your 1R is here and your 2R is here, this is not realistic. Is Apple going to get to 154 today? It's possible. Like I said, there are no absolutes in the markets. It's very possible. I shouldn't say very. It's possible. Will it happen? I'm not going to put money on it that it will. I've got to put probabilities and actual market movements, my experience with how the markets move, in my favor, right? So it is a good gap down. We are going to keep an eye on it. It's on the list already. We will see what it does, but it's a retest gap. I'm going to give it 10 to 15 minutes just to see its hand. And if it goes straight down and I miss the entire move, then I miss the whole move. I'm not going to jump out the gate on a retest gap. It's just not going to happen. So there are shorts profitable. We're kind of into a support. I do see Apple realistically getting down to 156.50 area today. I think that's possible, even with how much of a move it's already made. So with that being said, the market's dragging a little bit lower. This is possible on Apple, but it wouldn't shock me at all to have it put in a lower wick and then just bounce and then hang out in here for the rest of the day. So, all right, that's enough on that one. Box Inc. Was it gapping before? Because it's not really gapping at all right now. It's just kind of hanging out. I would find a better gap than this. We had a massive move up yesterday. It's most likely going to continue to fail back down to these EMAs. So 25 to 23 is where this thing most likely is going. It doesn't have to. Most likely is going to try to fill this gap a little bit more. So it was up 10% yesterday, massive gap right into a resistance, easy fade yesterday. I wish I would have looked at that yesterday, but today there's really not much there. There's no real new sentiment to play off of. Of course, you can kind of go off sentiment for the past few days, but I like when day trading to go off current changing sentiment that's happening based off of a gap. Okay. So we've got a few others. AMD is a good gap. We have a pretty decent support in front of us. That's going to be a place where I'm going to want to take some profits, but it's a good gap because it's a retest gap down. Yes, this was a big day down yesterday. Everything was. It's following the markets pretty closely, honestly, but we are gapping below a spot where we should have bounced. We should be bouncing at the 20 EMA right here, this lighter blue. If we were below this pivot, I think that would be even stronger. So this is a good gap. It is showing us some sentiment, but are we just going to do this again like I think the markets potentially could do? I could see AMD doing that even more. There's just a very strong support at 145. So keeping that in mind, make sure if you do take a trade, you're taking something off at that level. All right. Roblox, I got to hustle, spend less time. Not really gapping anywhere. It is yesterday closed below a pretty strong support. So the higher lows taken out yesterday, there's just so many buy orders on this thing. It's going to be pretty tough. But I would be looking short on this. Just be patient. Don't take anything right out the gate. Square. Square gapping down. So yesterday we closed right at that pivot. Now we're gapping down to that low of it. I feel like this is just too extended to go short. It looks really appetizing for this thing to keep dying, but I think it's going to trap and we're going to put a little bounce in and then it'll go short. So be very careful shorting Square today. It could go lower, but I would play this more bullish actually. It was just a massive down day yesterday. You're into a rock solid support after a huge move down. It's too extended to the downside. I mean, you're oversold on a daily. Don't short something that's oversold on a daily. It could work. It's just not worth. It's not worth. In the long run, over 100 trades, you're not going to make money on that strategy. And that's your mindset. You've got to be thinking about that. Over 100 trades, what are we going to do? What's our results over 100 trades? Not just this one. You've got to live in the big picture in day trading. Don't stress so much about what this trade does, win or lose. It's about the 100 trades, right? All right. It is one I want to keep an eye on, though. I think it could be fun just to watch. So I'm going to add Square to the list. See what kind of trap this thing puts in. It's just too strong of a support. And if it dies and falls off the cliff, then fine. I'm going to miss it. I don't care. I miss out on a million trades a day. So I'm good with that. Let's look at some YouTube requests here. Boeing. BS. BA. There we go. If I can type today. This is an old spread. Boeing is gapping up, doing something different than the markets, right? And this is what I was talking about with Square. Boeing is just very extended down into a strong support. If I zoom out a little bit more, you can even see this is a strong support. Is it really just going to crush lower right now? Oversold on a daily. It could. Most likely stocks are going to retest back up and then go back down. I would be looking somewhat bearish on Boeing up around $200. 200, possibly even 205. I don't think we get to 205 today, but I'm looking for a short. It is an inside candle. When it looks bullish, go short. When it looks bearish, go long. Play that game. It's going to be a tough trade. I feel like there's going to be a ton of traps. Don't expect this just to trend. On these inside candles, don't expect it to just trend and be like, sweet, big move. It's most likely going to do this. And you just, every time it looks bearish, it goes bullish. When it looks like, okay, we're going bullish now, it comes back down and goes bearish. That's the inside candle. That's what makes them tough to trade. All right, BNTX. Man, these markets are already kind of opening soon, and I need to get moving. BNTX, it seems a little spready. So what you're looking on a 5-minute chart, you don't want to see very many gaps. I've got a gap there. I've got a gap there. I've got a gap there. I've got a gap here, meaning it closed there, it opened there. I know this is probably really small to see on your screen. Closed there, opened here. This one's a little bit too spready for me to want to day trade. Just the analysis on the gap itself, if this thing could go back, please, thank you. You're gapping down into a massive support. Probably going to fill this gap around 303 and then go bullish. So that's my thoughts on it. Oh, that's right. Square changed their new name to Block. Fantastic. Way to go, Square. That was so innovative and awesome. Are they going to try to get into the blockchain technology or something? Is that what they're trying to push? We're no longer Square. We're Block. It could be, PR, I guess. There's some bad PR in certain communities with that name. I don't know. Way to go, Square. Good job. Could care less. Doesn't change your business, how much money it makes. Cisco inside candle. I am expecting Cisco to roll back down. That's me. That's my thoughts. So this one actually is not bad for a bear call spread. I legit could be doing a bear call spread on this one. Thank you for the heads up. Oops, again, got dyslexia with my fingers this morning. All right. Let's see here. What else is on there? Question of the day, how low can we go? So like I already kind of mentioned where I think the SPY will get to and the Qs. How low can we go today? I feel like today we're probably going to revisit. It's on the wrong chart. There we go. Like, what the heck is going on? We're probably going to get down to around 446.86 area. Worst case today, I think, is going to be 445. That's pretty much where I'm thinking on the SPY. Qs are pretty much the same story. Qs do have a little bit more support in the way. So I think the Qs today, 382, 383. That's where I think we're going to get down to today. We'll find out how weak we actually are. If we get to those levels and continue to dump, that gives you an idea of, we're weak, right? We should have bounced here. You're always looking for what should happen, and then you see if it plays out that way. If what should happen doesn't happen, you now can jump on sentiment. You now can read stuff because people are trapped, right? A stock that comes up and pulls down into a strong support. If we don't bounce off of this and we just continue to sink, you now have a good understanding of sentiment. You now have a good understanding of how weak we actually are. Does it mean you buy puts down here? No. It means you wait for the bounce. And when everyone's thinking we're going bullish, you remember this sentiment right here of how we should have done something and we didn't, and you're buying puts. Are you going to win? Who knows? That's trading. You've got to have the right risk on, the right size, using your analysis, using your ability to read sentiment to take trades and see how they play out. Manage your risk because you're going to be around a 50 to 55% win rate. Having the right expectations. YouTube makes you believe that everyone's sitting up here at like a 70, 80% win rate. Now, I have a 90% win rate with my credit spreads, but that's because it's a whole different setup, right? I have so many things in my favor that give me that. If you want to learn about that, check out some of my videos on credit spreads. I have them on YouTube, reallifetrading.com. You can check them out there, or our channel at Real Life Trading. Look up credit spreads, Tony Pollock. You'll see all kinds of my videos I do. That's my main method of making money. Day trading wise, though, directional trading, credit spreads are not necessarily directional. They kind of are, but you're selling options, right? It's a different breed. That's why it has a high win rate. If you're directional, if you're long anything, long shares, long options, it's a pure directional play. It has to go higher on a bull trade to make money, right? If you're doing that, expect a 50 to 60% win rate. That's crushing it. And so what you have to do is be able to lose small on your losing trades, win big on your winning trades. Okay. So I'm going to take 3 seconds to just go over a little bit of education that hopefully will change some of your guys' life in trading on YouTube here. Everyone else here in Real Life Trading, they've heard my rants. I'll get back to the gaps in 3 minutes. I promise. With trading, think about it as a coin flip. Okay. If you're flipping that coin and you make $10 on heads and you lose $4 on tails, flip that coin 1,000 times and you are going to be rich, right? That's the exact same mentality with trading. So what the problem is with most new traders is let's say right here, you're on a 5-minute chart and here's a great double bottom and you get in and here's your stop and it's a great trade and it keeps going. You're like, I just made $100. Now your target is up here, right? Let's say your $10 win on that coin flip heads. This was just simply a coin flip on this trade. You make $10 up here, you lose $4 down here, right? If you're up $100, Again, using that mentality. But if realistically, let's say you're up $100, you're like, frick, I would have to work nearly an entire day to make $100. And I just made it in 5 minutes. So what do most new traders do? They take it. Boom, baby. And they smile and they go, I am the greatest trader in the world. Let's go. I made $100 in 5 minutes. Screw you, job. I'm quitting my job. I'm trading full time. This is where it's at. I'm doing this thing, right? If I'm in your head typing a 1, like Dave, that's you typing a 1. Here's where this is the death, nail in the coffin. You just changed your scenario. You're flipping that coin, and instead of getting $10 on heads, you're now getting $3 on heads. The problem is you're still losing $4 on tails on your losing trades, right? When you get in and this thing comes down and you lose $4 and you're only making $3 on heads, you flip that coin 100 times, you're not going to be profitable. That's the trap of the markets. When you first get in, you go, oh, I just made $100. You should have made $400. Whatever your R is, right? It could be anything. I'm just giving you an example. This is normally how it works. That's why you've got to look for you've got to learn the R system on real life trading. Learn the R system. It'll revolutionize your risk management. Look it up on YouTube. You'll find it. Real life trading, how to use the R. You'll find it. Take up our beginners courses. They're free. Go to reallifetrading.com and hit up our beginners courses. You'll learn all about the R system. You've got to understand how these markets work, because over 100 trades, if you change that coin flip analogy and you're only making $4 on heads, or you're making $3 on heads, you're losing $4 on tails, you will not be profitable. No matter how good it feels to make $100 in 5 minutes, you're not going to be profitable. And over 100 trades, you're going to go, crap, I'm broke. And you're going to go crawling back to your job and be like, man, I thought I was a good trader and I just got my butt kicked. That's the trap of the markets. You've got to let your winning trades win. You've got to let that coin flip. You've got to make $10 on heads. Why? Because you're at 50-50. If you're not making twice as much on your winning trades as you're losing on your losing trades, you're not going to make any money. So you've got to let the winners work. And you've got to find a way to lose smaller, following your plan, as you can on your losing trades. That doesn't mean, okay, it's red, I just get out. That's not what I'm talking about. You need to have a consistent plan that tells you when to move your stop based off of the charts, not based off of your emotion. There's so much that goes into day trading. Join real life trading. At least take advantage of our free education. You don't even have to pay for it. You don't have to join anything. Take our beginners courses. You'll find it on reallifetrading.com. You'll learn all of the basics. Don't assume you're smarter than you actually are. I could go in med school and be like, you know what? I cut myself when I was camping once and I stitched it up pretty good. Like, I think I'm ready for surgery. Let's do this thing. No. I don't need to learn all this stuff. I already know. We don't do that in anything in life. We don't do that in anything in life, but with the markets we do, and it screws us. Be humble, be teachable, be coachable, realize you don't know everything. I don't know everything. Still, after years and years and years of trading profitably full-time, I have tons to learn. And if you can keep that mentality of humble, the problem is people have turned trading into a cocky business where I am the best. Hey, peasants over there, don't even bother me with your questions. Dude, that guy sucked biscuits when he first started too. No one was born just this amazing trader. You had to learn. Warren Buffett himself is like, man, I've made so many mistakes. I've lost millions of dollars. Ask him. Look up his YouTube videos. He confesses it. No one just was born just like, I am the king of trading. Now, there are people that are gifted that have a head start, but everyone sucked. Everyone was a noob at one point in their life, whether you were 13 or whether you were 80. Whenever you start in the markets, don't feel like, man, that he's so good. Guys, I was the worst trader in the world. You know how I learned this stuff is because I had to get my teeth kicked in 100 times for me to finally be like, wow, okay, dang, I don't know what I'm doing. I need to learn this. Please take advantage of our free education. Stop wasting money. Stop losing money in the markets consistently and figure out why you are. Over 100 trades, are you profitable? Cool. My friends at YouTube, I'm sorry I didn't get to any more gaps. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to boot you off. Come join us. Come trade with us. We have a ton of fun in the beginner's room. Markets are open. We'll see you guys later.